Welcome to Casa Monge. Today we're going to be doing a very special presentation for you guys. We're going to be cooking tacos. So the first thing that I want to bring up is a very, very important guest that we have today on the show. And that guest is Dr. Martha Bruckner. She's going to be helping us make these homemade tacos. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to list off the ingredients. So the first thing that you're going to need is some corn oil to kind of make sure the meat doesn't stick. Yeah, we're gonna get the seasoning for the steak. This is your choice. So if you like just salt on your steak or whatever you like, I get this seasoning salt that's already made with all the ingredients on it, so then I don't have to worry about mixing any. The next thing you're gonna need is your meat. So this meat I got from Walmart. It already came cut up. So unless you want it cut up more, then you don't have to worry about cutting it up, which is really cool. And then some extra toppings that I brought along today is onion, cilantro, fresh, and then avocados. So those are going to be our toppings for our tacos. The tortillas that we're going to use today are some corn tortillas called El Milagro. These are personally my favorite. If you like smaller portions of tacos, you can use the smaller tortillas and you can just double it up with that. But these are my favorites and I think they are very good with the tacos. So first of all, to get started, we're going to start cooking the meat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the seasoning that I want to it. Okay. For this seasoning, I don't like a whole lot of seasoning, but I will put enough on it to cover the meat up to give it some flavor. After that, I'm just going to mix it slightly to make sure it gets on all the meat. And then we're going to add a little bit of oil to it just so that it won't stick on the pan. My pan is heated about half. Depending on how fast you want to cook the meat, that's how much you can heat it up. But I advise you to keep it at the middle just so that the meat won't burn. So I'm going to start to put my meat. You can hear that it starts to sizzle. So that's a good thing. And we're just going to continue to move it around. So while we do that, it's a good idea to prepare the toppings. So if you would help me, we're going to start with cutting the avocado. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut the avocado. Okay. So just move it around. When it turns more of a brown, then we'll be able to see how it looks cooked. But I'm going to be cutting my avocado. So I just cut it down the middle like this. And we're going to open it up, and look how green and beautiful that is. So it depends how you want your avocado cut. I'm going to cut it in cubes because it's just easier to put on top. So I'm going to make these lines like this, and then I'm going to cross it over and just scoop that into my box. So according to an article by Jessica Fisher, Life as a Mom, she says that cooking at home is not only healthier, but it also helps you save money. When it comes to tacos, we're going to make them in under 10 minutes. So it's easier to just go home and have these ingredients ready for you to make than it is to sometimes drive all the way to Omaha or across town just to get some delicious tacos. It helps us to create some family time too. When you want to make tacos with your family, it's a good way to bond, like we're doing right now. While someone's stirring the meat, someone is cutting up the toppings that we're going to have on them. So after the avocados, another topping that I'm going to be adding is cilantro. So this is fresh. It smells so good, and it just adds that little spice to your tacos. You can add as much as you want or as little as you want. It doesn't matter. So what I do with the cilantro is that I cut it into little thin kind of leaves-ish. So you want it as thin as possible, unless you like it big too. So we're cutting it really thin. As you can see, it's cut up to little pieces, almost like a leaf. So we can add that topping into our little bowl as well. If you want to add water, it helps too to kind of keep it more fresh while you're making those tacos. And another topping that you can add to your tacos Some people like beans on their tacos. Some people like tomato on their tacos, although it isn't super traditional. Some people like cheese on their tacos. And sometimes they make like a quesadilla mixed with the taco. So you can also buy that at a taco truck if you're interested in buying that. So once you have your cilantro cut, we're going to move on to another popular topping, which is the onion. So the onion is typically cut into thin cubes to make it to give it that flavor, but also not be just onions. Another thing that people do is that they fry the onions as well, which is really good, and it doesn't make it as spicy as the onions usually are. I'm going to cut this on this side. If you want to add more taste or more of that oniony taste to the meat, you can also add some onions. So I'm going to add just a little bit right here to kind of give that taste to them. In the picture right there, we can see that these tacos just have onions and cilantro. Okay, so once you have your toppings, the next thing that we're gonna do is to give the tortillas more of not just like a harder shell, we're going to be putting them kind of on top of the meat. So what this does is that it makes the tortilla softer and it also gives them flavor as well. So I'm just gonna slide these in while the meat is cooking and we're gonna heat them up. Usually tacos have two tortillas. It depends if they're smaller, they for sure have two. But if they're bigger, it just depends the place. I remember asking my cousins that, is it really a taco if it doesn't have two tortillas? But I think it's safe to say it still is if it only has one. So we can see that the meat is starting to get this really brown color, which is perfect. In a couple of minutes, maybe like 2 minutes, 1 minute, it's going to be done. So while that's going on, we're just going to heat up our tortillas as we go. These tacos are steak. So like I said, there can be chicken if you like chicken on your tacos. There can be all sorts of different cow parts. I know they sell cow tongue. I don't know if you ever tried that, would you? Which is really good actually. There is also the stomach part of the cow if you want to buy those types of tacos. I think the tongue is better than the stomach. And then we have just regular beef if you want regular beef. There's also pork if you guys like pork. They say those are the healthiest, which is weird because bacon isn't very healthy, but those tacos are. So our tacos are almost done. You can see that we're adding some of the juice from the meat, and that, like I said, it just adds more flavor and it makes them very good. One thing that I like about these tortillas is that they cook really, really fast. So they get soft very fast. It doesn't take much time for them to cook. There are places where they have this whole, imagine this whole table covered with just meat and tortillas. I'm getting ready to make those tacos. So, yeah. My hope is that you guys in return would be able to maybe instead of going out to a restaurant to go get tacos, you guys would be able to spend some time with your family, your friends, important people to you, and being able to just make those tacos and have a good time with it. As you can see, it's very easy to do. Have you ever made tacos before?
Not like this, no.
Wow. So the first time she's already doing a great job. So it can't be that hard. So now we're going to finish. The meat is done. You did an amazing job.
Thank you.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab some of the meat and we're just gonna slide it on there. And like I said, if you don't like your meat, this one's pretty thin, as you guys can see. But if you don't like your meat super big, you can also continue to cut it up. And then we're gonna add a little bit of onions, a little bit of avocado, and a little bit of cilantro. So there you guys have it. Authentic Mexican tacos. Thank you guys. See you next time.